Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. Today, we're getting spooky and we are going to be diving into some Creative Expressions Halloween cards. Hi, June. Happy Friday. I hope you are well. And really, that's all we're going to do today is have some fun. I have 2 cards that I'm going to do today, and I've got some things prepped out behind me. So let's just get creative. I'll flip my camera over to show you the 2 cards. So there is this one here, which I'll show you. I used a mixture of different Creative Expressions and Couture Creations products. And then I also did this one using some Art by Marlene watercolors and the Creative Expressions stamps and dies. Hi, Lisa. Happy Friday. I hope you're having a good Friday so far. So I'm going to start with the watercolor one. I've already stamped out my images and I've cut my, what are those called? Pumpkins out. So I think we'll start with the background so we can give it some time to dry. I'm using the Art by Marlene watercolor set here. This is my favorite. There is a nice black in here. We've also got the yellow. So I'm going to start by getting a spray bottle. And this is just water. I'm going to spritz my watercolors just to kind of get them loose and activated, especially the yellow and the black. And I'm just going to move my pumpkins, make sure I don't lose them because I usually do that. And grab a paper towel and clean up the mess I just made. I am going to need paper towel on hand because I tend to get messy. So when I'm watercoloring, I typically like to tape down my paper. So I'm going to do that now. I've got this studio light and just tear that off. And I'm just going to tape along the... Usually I do all 4 edges, but right now I'm just going to do the top and the bottom because I'm going to end up moving it anyway. But usually I do all 4 corners. And the reason I'm using this tape is because this is the best tape that does not tear your paper. So I'll show you. No tearing done. Wow, I know. A lot of tapes claim to be low tack, but this one is truly low tack. So I trust it with my life. Except for when I'm die cutting. When I'm die cutting, sometimes it will stick a little bit and it'll be a little bit difficult. But for this purpose, we're good. So I'm going to set that up there just so I can kind of have something to copy off of. And to my right, I have a little tray. I just got this at the dollar store. This is just filled with some water so I can clean my brushes. I'm just using this Art by Marlene brush and then this random one that we've had for years. And I'm going to start with coloring in the yellow. So I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet, grab a piece of scrap paper, and I always like to have a paper towel in my hand in case I get anything too wet. And I'm going to pick up the yellow. Maybe I should turn this sideways so you can see the colors there. Just going to get my yellow, and then I usually will test and take a little bit off my brush, and on either you can do it on the mat here or just on the paper. It's totally up to you. And now I'm going to go along my house here with the heavier pigment of this yellow, just because I want it darker towards the house. And then I'm going to take some off, get a little bit of water on my brush, and pick up a little bit of that ink because I just want it to be lighter now. So now I'm going to go around the edge and fill in the rest of that circle. And then if I'm not satisfied, I can always go back in and add a little bit more, but I think that is actually very good. And then I'm going to grab some orange for the lights. I forgot to do the lights up top, so hopefully I'll remember to do it this time. I'm going to grab the kind of the darker orange. And at this time, I'm going to put it on my mat because I don't have enough water on my brush, and just wet it a bit. See the color. That's a good color. And just fill in the little windows. And then I'm going to do the top before I forget. All right, there, we're good on that end. Now I'm going to wash my brush, and I actually am done with this brush now. I'm going to get my larger brush, and now I'm going to go in with the black. So going to wet my brush with water, quite wet, take a little bit off, dip into that black, clean up that orange, and then just on my surface here, that's a good, I think that's dark enough. Now I'm just going to start pulling the color out. And I don't want to go far like I did here. I actually didn't mean to do that. I wasn't really paying attention. And I'm going to just pick up that color. Maybe I'll add a little bit of water to not make it so bright and pigmented, because as I pull the color out, I just want it to be slightly lighter. And then I'll clean up my brush marks after. Maybe a bit more black, a bit more water. And I'm no pro at watercolor. Like, I definitely would say I'm probably a beginner watercolor, but I love it. It's very easy to do. And I feel like it's pretty foolproof for us beginners with watercolor, because it's never like perfect. So I'm just going and doing kind of a nice edge. Now I'm going to be careful around my moon and just go along the house here. And then once I've got that around the edge, I'm going to pick up more color and keep filling in that dark sky. And to get rid of those brush strokes, I'm just going to pack that water on so it looks a bit more seamless. And I want this out a little bit, like so. Missing one spot. All right. Now I'm just going to kind of go back all over top and kind of cover everything I may have missed. And I'm going to add a bit more color closer to the house. So I want it a little bit darker towards the house, and then as I go out, a little bit lighter. Trying to get rid of those brush strokes. And I'm literally almost done. This is a very easy card. All right, so I would say that's good. I'm just going to clean up the bottom here, make it kind of seamless. And I'll just do a little bit more here. Okay, that's good enough for me. Now I'm going to not put this away. I'm just going to move this, and I'm going to put this somewhere else for now to dry. And then I'm going to clean up my surface, and I'm going to grab those pumpkins. So you'll notice I have pre-cut my pumpkins. I have done some solid and some with the face. So these are actually going to layer on top to create what I did. So I'm going to separate my solids with the ones that have faces in them. And my card is right here. So you can see I've got the yellow behind is the house stamp or die. Oh yes, I should have told you that. And hi, Linda. This is, I just had it in my hand. This is a stamp. I have it here. It's the Trick or Treat by Tailor Made Journals stamp. I really like this stamp set. There's also, I think, a second one. It might be fall theme, might not be Halloween specific, but I really like their stamps. So that is a stamp, and this stamp comes with it as well. All right, let's do these in orange and then that in yellow. So I'm just going to grab this brush, clean it. I don't want black. And then I'm going to get a little bit of water, clean water on my brush and pick up the orange. I'll move that closer. Pick up the orange, and this is pretty quick and messy, but that's okay. I just paint all over, then move it aside to dry, and then just go back over. And that's not pigmented enough, so add a bit more pigment in there. This is watercolor paper, by the way. It's Hunky Dory's Prism watercolor paper. I prefer to use watercolor paper because I don't know, it just works better. Hence why it's called watercolor paper, meant for watercoloring. And then I'll just clean up whatever's left and add it to my pumpkin. Set that aside. Just wipe that up. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the yellow. So clean the orange off my brush. Get a clean bit of water. Dip into that yellow. Put a little bit on my mat. And then just color this. I do want it quite pigmented because it is going to go behind. And I want that yellow to shine through. A little bit of water. Not enough water on here. There we go. Just coat it. And this also is pretty quick at drying, so it won't take long to dry. By the time I piece these together, they will be dry. All right, so that's done. Now I'm just going to wipe up my surface again. And I'm done with the watercoloring, so I'm going to put this away. And now we are going to piece our pumpkins together. So grab my backs of my pumpkins, and I actually prefer to cut the little tops off of my pumpkin because it's going behind and sometimes I can't get those perfectly straight. So this helps hide any imperfections, just cutting the tops off of them. All right, then I have got my little glue bottle. This is a Couture Creations glue bottle. I really like it. I haven't had any issues with the glue drying in the nozzle. I think it's because it like keeps it nice and sealed with this cap on it. And this is just a Creative Expressions Specialist acrylic glue. And I'm just going to I don't need a whole lot if I can get this thing out of my way. And this is pretty well almost empty. Let me shake her. Watch me run out just as I am on now. There we go. It's coming out now. Just got to squeeze it a bit. I don't need much glue. And then just piece it over top. And then since it is glue, it gives you a bit of wiggle room so you can move it around to try and get it perfectly over top, like so. And then we'll do that for the rest. Just a little bit of glue. And then after my card is kind of more die cutting stuff that I've pre-cut, but it's a little bit more, what's the word? It's got a bit more to it than this one. So I'm excited to show you that one. I actually just did this one this morning and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing for my Facebook Live. It is too cute with the little pumpkins. And these are little pumpkin dies. I'll show you in just a second once I get my last one. I'm struggling to get that one over top. Perfect. There we go. Good enough. And my last little pumpkin head. So you will notice these are all different faces. And it is a nice little pumpkin die. So I'm going to grab the die to show you while that dries. Where did I? Maybe I forgot it. Oh, it's right here. So there are 11 dies total in here. So you get your 2 different size pumpkins, and then you get all these different faces to fit inside of the pumpkins. And then there's also leaves. Oh, I forgot to do the tops in green. I'm going to just use a marker instead this time. I did use watercolor, as you can see, but let's do a marker and see what it looks like. So I'm just going to color this in. This isn't Couture Creations alcohol ink marker. I'm using this a lot in my next card. Just get the tops. And then I'm going to wipe that up before I make a mess. Okay, now I lost my card. Oh, back here. Now we would just cut this up, and I have a feeling I left my paper trimmer. I did leave my paper trimmer, so I'll just show you how I would piece it together. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just cut it however small you'd want. And then I just layered my pumpkins along the bottom. However, which way. You could do it like this. There's obviously many ways you could do it. But yeah, you just cut it, and then you've got your pumpkins on like this. So this is the first card. Now I'll show you the second one again. So this is the next one I'm going to be doing here. And you can see there is some nice shine to it. The camera really doesn't do it justice. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to move my watercolor stuff so that way I don't make a mess or spill anything. And now I don't need this glue because I used, after I did this card and I glued it on, I was kicking myself in the head thinking, why did I not just use the die cut and bond tape? So on the back side of this, it is the die cut and bond tape. So it is one big sticker. So this is going to be game changer for me. So I'm just going to try and peel this out the best I can without it getting unsticky. Let me get my poker tool. Where's my little poker? Here it is. And I'm just going to poke these all out. And I did have to run this through a few times because it is a larger die and I was using a smaller machine. So for it to get fully cut, I had to run it through enough times. Especially because I had the die cut and bond on the back, it made it even thicker. All right, put these out. So yeah, there's a lot of really tiny pieces. You'll notice when I peel this off when I'm done coloring it, and you'll understand why I use the die cut and bond tape and why I was kicking myself in the foot for not using it the first time. So I am poking every little hole out because I want this whole thing to stay together while I color it because it'll be easier. Almost got it out. Just gotta finish the top of the tree. Okay. Perfect. So it's all in here. I just want to piece it back in. So I'm leaving it like so, and we're going to color it now. And I'm using alcohol ink markers. So these are all the Couture Creations alcohol ink markers. And I'm using a variety of brown colors. Oh, I also have my sentiment here. I'll figure out if I want to do that later. And then the background, I just die cut in black. So let's get coloring. This top bit, I colored in the green. So I'm going to color that because it looks like that goo that's like dripping from the top or slime or whatever. So I'm just going to color this in with the green. And then for my tree, I used tons of different brown colors and just kind of did whatever, scattered it because not all trees are like the exact same inking and coloring in real life. So I just like to try and make it a little bit more realistic. Plus I find it gives a little bit more interest and depth to the card. I do like to do around this face a little bit darker to highlight it a bit. Then I'll take another brown, kind of blend those colors together. And then I'm going to take another brown and do some more shading and coloring here, mixing the colors together. And I'm using the brush tip on this. Oh, I love the brush tip. It makes it so much easier to get into all the little grooves that there are. Oops, not the brush tip. And I might just finish with this color because this is a really nice brown color. All right. Then my other tree, I should have done that at the same time. I wasn't really thinking, but do I ever really think? That's a question up for debate. I was a little bit more planned today, though, you guys will notice. Last week, it was kind of a busy week for me, so I was kind of last minute trying to piece things together for my life, but this time I had more time to plan. And next week, I probably will do a Christmas one because I don't think we're getting much more Halloween stuff in. Oh, there is some hunky-dory Halloween stuff coming in that is absolutely to die for. So I have to do a live when that comes in. If you notice, though, on the website, we do have a lot of Christmas arrivals in stock now. I know it's too early for some to talk about Christmas, but for me, Christmas starts in July. Well, at least Christmas card making starts in July because Christmas cards, they can take a while to make. And a lot of people get Christmas cards from me in during Christmas, so never a bad thing to make too many. All right, now I'm kind of just filling in the rest of the areas. Maybe doing a little bit more blending. This one's drying out. I definitely like this color. And then I'm not going to color in the skeleton. I'm going to leave that. And then I'm going to get black. And there's a little bird sitting on the tree here. So I'm just going to color that bird in black. And the ground, actually I'll do the gravestones first. I'm just doing those in a silver or gray, I guess. And then for the ground, I'm doing this reddish dark brown color. And I'm just going to avoid the skeleton's little feet. Color that in. And fun stuff will start happening once I'm done coloring this. Oh, I almost forgot. I got to color the pumpkins in. So this is my dirt. Okay. I think that's good. I got it all colored. Now pumpkins are pretty easy. I'm just going to color that all in orange, and then I'll just color the hat in the black. And this is a die cut that does have embossing details in it. So I'm going to highlight those embossing details using Gilded Touch in just a minute. And I'm just going to color in the witch's hat on top of the pumpkin. Okay. Yes, I think I'm good now to move along. Now we'll grab the Gilded Touch. So I've got some different Gilded Touch here. Hi, Desiree. These cards are adorable. I know. I was very happy with how they turned out. Oh, I just realized I'm missing a brown here. I'm gonna fix that first. Okay. Now let's do the pumpkins first. So I'm going to highlight the pumpkins using the copper or burnished copper from the Lyrical Wax. I'm just going to put a little bit down, and I'm going to mix it in with the Heart of Gold. And the reason I'm mixing the two is because I couldn't really find a perfect orange. I thought this was kind of a good orangish color. I think I added too much of that gold. I want that copper back in there because it's got a little bit of that orangey finish to it. Definitely have too much, but that's okay. I just use my finger for this. You can use a sponge. I have a lot on there, so just a small amount like that. And then I will just run my finger over top. And you'll notice as I'm doing that, it picks up on the highlighted areas. So you'll notice that the embossed area only gets the highlight on it, and then you can really see that orange in the mouth and the eyes pop a little bit more. And then I'm just going to move this around so I don't get it on the ground. I'm doing the ground in a different color. Okay. That looks good enough to me. Once I pop it out, it won't look so messy. It's just because I've left the background on. Now I'm going to clean that up. I like to use baby wipes. And then the next color I'm going to go in with is this is the Autumn Bronze. So it's a nice dark color. So this is what's going to go over top of the trees and the ground. So same idea, just take some on my finger and just run it along. Be careful though, because I accidentally got a little bit on my mummy. Can't really tell because I covered it pretty good. I got some on my mummy, and then I used the acrylic marker, the white side, just to cover it up, and it worked very well. So that's a good tip too. If you're doing any projects and you make a little error, the Creative Detailer tool is good to take it off, but also just covering it, if it's supposed to be white, with the white acrylic marker is a good little handy tool to have. All right, I'm just going to keep going around with my finger. I have a silver that I'm going to do over top of the gravestones. So I'm just kind of avoiding that area. And this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because, I don't know, trees aren't perfect. I'm also not really perfectionist when it comes to this style. The last one I'm a little bit more picky on because you can kind of see the airs a little bit easier on. There's less going on, but this one's a little bit of a busier card, so I don't really have to be too perfect. And then I'm going to avoid the bird. I don't want this on the bird. And then this part is where I accidentally got, oh, yep, I got it on the skeleton, so I'll show you what I did after. I'm not going to fix it right now. All on the trees, on the branches. Okay, I'm almost done. All right, I've got all the branches and everything that I wanted. So I'm going to clean this up and try not to make a mess. Now I'm going to do silver. So I'm really going to clean my finger good. And I'm going to use, actually, it's pearl, not silver. Actually, it is silver. Silver note. I didn't see it right there in front of my face. That happens a lot. So this I'm just going to add over top of the gravestone, so I don't need much. And this will also highlight the embossed area, and you can see the RIP is showing a little bit better. Maybe not so well on camera. And then clean this up again. And then we'll do the pearl on top of the mummy. But before I do that, I am going to add that acrylic marker over where I accidentally added, you can see on its bones there, I accidentally added the Gilded Touch. So I'm just going to use my white acrylic marker, cover that up. Now you can't see it. And then I'm going to take the pearl, do the exact same thing that I did with all the other things on the mummy. Cover the mummy. I want him to be shiny. And this will also, again, highlight the embossed elements on the mummy. And this will also further cover up that mistake I just did. Oops, that was a lot on its face. Oh well, extra shiny. All right, so that is, oh, I'm missing this part. This is what I used the Misty Teal on. I always have a hard time guessing how much, and I usually end up putting too much. So pick that up And just put that over top of that goo. All right, so that is done. Now we actually get to place it onto the black, so you'll kind of see it coming to life a little bit better. So I'm just going to start to find the peel on this. Maybe if I pop it out. So now you'll get to see why I did the die cut and bond as opposed to the glue, because there are lots of little tiny dyed pieces here. So I'm just going to be careful pulling this because I don't want to tear anything. The mummy is kind of stuck. There we go. It's coming to life. It's coming to get you. Okay, now it's stuck to me. And just keep pulling. And voila, we have got it. There's a piece here I want out. Get out of there. There we go. Now I'll put this over top. Any pieces that are stuck, I'm just going to use a pokey tool and get that out after. So I'm just going to layer this down now, like so. And I'm not going to put too much pressure down because, again, there are some pieces that I'm going to have to pick out with a pokey tool. So any of those pieces, I'm not going to stick down too hard. So that is, again, you can see all these tiny little branches were a pain in the butt to glue. So the tape is a lifesaver. Now I'm going to grab my pokey tool and just pick out those, pick out the die cut areas that are not supposed to be on here. The pumpkins. It's coming out actually quite easily. So again, the reason I said don't apply too much pressure yet is because if I put pressure on, it's going to be hard to get these little things out. But they're coming out quite easily. And this one's now causing me trouble. Come on, there we go. Hopefully you guys can't see my hair. No, I don't think so. All right, almost done. We got to just get the zombie, or not the zombie, the skeleton. He's got little areas in him that are stuck. His eye. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Bones. All right. Get out of there. There we go. So now you can see what it looks like. You can see that shimmer on there. Come on, show that shimmer. All right, then we have the sentiment and the bats. I don't think I need to do this on camera because you guys, I feel like, get the idea. Same thing as what I literally just did here. I did color the bats in black. I didn't use the same paper as I did for this because the black still stands out when it's colored versus the black paper, if it'll focus. Come on, focus. No, not happening. All right. So those are the 2 cards that we did today. I hope you guys had fun and maybe learned something. If not, maybe got inspired. That is all I have today. If you haven't seen, we have our open house dates. We are doing it the 18th and 19th. It's a Friday, Saturday. It is on our Facebook. It's been posted like a save the date. We don't have registration open yet, but will be soon. And yes, so save the date. More information to come regarding the open house. If you don't know what the open house is, it is where it's a big event that we have. It is $5 and you make 4 different cards. It is a lot of fun. We do hourly draws, so you have an opportunity to win something. We've got sales, and plus it's just a fun atmosphere to be around. So I'm looking forward to it. When I have more information, you guys will know. And until then, or until next week, next Friday, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and weekend. And I'll see you next week, same place, same time. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye.